Following a difficult start to the 2022 season for Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, a slew of upgrades introduced in Barcelona last weekend transformed the W13's pace. Russell battled the Red Bulls on his way to a podium finish, but it was Hamilton's charge from the back of the field on lap 1 to finish 5th that really boosted the German car manufacturer's confidence. Team boss Toto Wolff believes Hamilton's pace indicated that Mercedes had the fastest package overall and that the team's previous title-winning form was within reach. That looked like a World Championship winning race car that he was driving, and that would not have been possible in previous races. That reminded me of last year and the years before when a car is really on the top of its game. The team entered the race with 4 different upgrades. This included a change in M-plate camber, which now curves gently inboard to improve flow on the front cake tin deflector and thus flow to the back of the car. Another addition was the introduction of a slot to the floor's outer edge. This is a detail change found on other cars that is intended to improve floor performance when the car is running close to the ground. A new lower deflector end plate was also added, which contributes to increased local load on the lower deflector inside the rear wheels, increasing overall diffuser load. And last but not least, Mercedes added a new bib vane to the keel. This modification serves a dual purpose and benefit. First, it generates local load in the middle of the car. Second, it sends a vortex beneath the car's main floor. Because of the combination of these 4 upgrades, the W13 struggled much less from the porpoising phenomenon, allowing the team to run the car at a more optimal setup than was previously possible. George Russell qualified 4th and moved into the race lead following Max Verstappen's turn 4 error and Charles Leclerc's retirement. He would eventually fall behind the Red Bull duo to 3rd, but still enjoyed his most competitive showing of the year. His teammate Lewis Hamilton qualified 6th, but fell to the back of the pack when he clashed with Kevin Magnussen in the opening lap. Hamilton then surged back through the field, setting a string of fastest laps before passing Carlos Sainz for 4th place. He had to give up the position due to cooling issues in the final lap, but he still finished 5th. When asked if Mercedes now believes it can compete with Ferrari and Red Bull for the championship, Wolff replied, "I've seen a race today that reminded me of the cars of previous seasons, where you're 30+ seconds behind the whole field and you come all the way to the front and near the podium. That was very encouraging and shows we've made another step. Can we fight for a world championship? Well, we bet we can, but we just need to have a car that is able to finish 1st and 2nd. And I think we have reasons to believe that we can get there. If you look at the odds, they are against us, but motor racing is a different ballgame. We've seen today that Ferrari didn't score a lot of points, although they should. We're absolutely pushing flat out in order to bring us back into the game. While Hamilton is 64 points adrift of championship leader Max Verstappen in the drivers' standings, Russell is much closer and lies only 36 points back. Mercedes is 3rd in the Constructors' Championship with 120 points, 49 behind Ferrari and 75 behind Red Bull. The W13 improvements, according to Wolff, have not eliminated the gap between the 2 teams, but he believes it has been significantly reduced. These regulations have caught us off guard in a way, and step by step we are understanding what we need to do in order to bring the performance back into the car. We've seen another big step this weekend, and probably we have halved the disadvantage to the front runners. But still, there is lots of way to go in order to be right up there in the fight. But having said that, we're 3rd with George, and that's strong. His driving was unbelievable. The defending, the positioning, I'm so proud and happy in a way to see that. And a great star or a great driver in the making. Even Lewis Hamilton was taken aback by how well the car performed on Sunday. Contact with Haas driver Magnussen on the first lap slowed Hamilton and forced him to pit early, leaving him more than 50 seconds behind the leader at the end of the first lap. Hamilton then asked Mercedes over the radio if it was worth saving the car's engine, only to be told that he could still finish 8th. And as we know now, Mercedes grossly underestimated their own performance when they issued that radio message. Hamilton explained that the upgrades improved the race pace and made the car much more drivable over long runs, giving him reason to believe that he could have finished in the mix with the Red Bulls, who finished 1st and 2nd. This is a great sign that we're going in the right direction. I have no doubt at some stage we can fight for wins again, because today, if I hadn't had that, I would have been fighting with the Red Bulls. So that gives me hope that at some stage we'll be fighting for the win. Lewis Hamilton also revealed that a conversation with a terminally ill child on Saturday served as inspiration for him during Sunday's race. A race like that is like a win and feels feels better most often than a win when you have come from so far back. I had to get through a lot of adversity in that race, starting so far back after lap 1. There was a young girl I spoke to yesterday who was my inspiration, Isla, 5 years old and terminally ill, and she said, "Can you win the race for me tomorrow?" I was like, I don't think I can win the race, but I will give it everything. We have made a lot of improvements with the car. The race pace is much better. We have some improvements to make in qualifying. Our cars were a little different. They experimented with something on George's car, which ultimately ended up being the better way to go in qualifying. And maybe in the next race, I will take that on. It is a great sign we are going in the right direction, and that gives me hope that at some stage we will be fighting for the win. However, not everything about the race was positive. With George Russell in 3rd and Hamilton in 4th at the closing stages of the race, both suffered water leaks, allowing Ferrari's Carlos Sainz to pass the 7-time world champion on the penultimate lap. Russell was also put on the defensive by the issue, but held off the Spaniard to take the 3rd podium spot, his 2nd of the season after Australia, albeit 20 seconds behind Sergio Perez in 2nd. Hamilton, like Russell, was told to lift and coast with the potentially race-ending issue. Russell said after the race, "Yeah, it was very difficult in the last few laps. It was a survival race when we knew we had a gap. As I said, just proud to bring it home in P3, and thanks to all the fans here. They've been amazing all weekend, and the support for F1 at the moment is at an incredible place, so it's just great to be here at the moment." He stated that overheating issues had a significant impact on them, adding, "When I had the Red Bulls in my mirrors, all I was doing was my maximum to keep him behind, and it was an enjoyable good couple of laps. Just pleased to be able to bring home P3, a lot of points on the board for us." Nonetheless, both drivers felt the team had taken a significant step forward in resolving its porpoising issues as a result of the updates brought to Barcelona. Russell, however, was hesitant to say the team had returned to its usual form, describing the race as very tough. "I'd love to say that, but today was very tough. I gave everything I could to hold Max off. He did an amazing job, and so proud to be standing here. We've had to work so hard, so this is for everyone back at Brackley and Brixworth, so thank you." But the team appears to be optimistic about the future, and with the majority of the season still ahead of them, they have plenty of time to catch up. Another silver lining is that while Mercedes are still slower than Ferrari and Red Bull, the two front runners have demonstrated that they are not invulnerable. With Charles Leclerc experiencing an engine failure and Max Verstappen struggling to activate the DRS on some laps, the two championship contenders have been plagued by reliability issues thus far, and Mercedes can take advantage of this fact to close the gap in the championship race. What do you think of Mercedes' impressive performance in the Spanish Grand Prix? Is it a sign of things to come? Hamilton's comeback from last to 5th place was particularly impressive. Is this a watershed moment for the 7-time world champion? We'd love to hear from you in the comments section below. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos.